Hi, Garrett Smith here with DIY PBX. Welcome back. This is video 14. In the next couple of minutes, we're going to show you how to set up caller ID. Ken, our head trainer, is here with more information on how to do that.
Kent from DIYPBX.com. This time I want to talk to you about caller ID and a little bit about how it works. So you see I've got my SIP.us portal pulled up in front of you, and if you look at my CDR I've got pulled up, you can see on here I've got a couple outbound calls. They both fail because I sent them to fake numbers, but look at my source caller ID. I got this funky number in here that came from the inbound caller ID I programmed on the soft phone I was using. So right now, if I were to dial out that same number on this here, that's what we'll do. And I'll show you what it looks like kind of live. Oh, it says all circuits are busy now. Where did that message come from? Well, you can see my call got out. But look, failed because it's a fake number, but look at my source caller ID, 100. That's giving my extension number as the caller ID. So there's several different ways that we can configure this. So we'll start with the extension level. We'll go over to the extensions, and we'll take a look at 100 since that's the phone I was using. Notice that you can set a different outbound caller ID. And if you go to the little help bubble, it'll tell you, look, you can send it in this format, where you have the caller name in quotations and then the number in carats. Most carriers want 10 digits in America for caller ID. So we would want to send it out, and I'll just put the caller ID in there. We'll put 222-555-1234. It's going to look like we're sending and calling to the same number. I can set it there and then hit submit, and I apply the config. Now if I dial that number again, 222-555-1234, I may have bumped my receiver off the hook. No, I got it out. It failed, and as you can see, it sent out this new caller ID. Well, I can also override it at the outbound route level. So I go over to my outbound routes, and here's my route for SIP US, and I can either leave the extension or I can override the extension, and we'll put in here 555-555-1234. So now we've got all fives, then 1234. If I left this unchecked, it would only put that if the caller ID didn't come from somewhere else. But I wanted to override my caller ID all the time, so it says that. So now, hit apply config, go back to SIP US. I'm going to dial that one more time. And if we refresh this yet again, you can see, oh, there's my fives. And it tries to deliver the call multiple times. This is just one call. But it overrode my caller ID. Now, you can set your caller ID one other way with SIP US, which is kind of neat. You go to your trunk, and you go in here, and you've got a caller ID override. Well, let's say we want to set this to 777-555-1234. And we hit submit on that. And we'll go back to our CDR. I'm going to dial out again. And we'll show you what it looks like. There you go. It overrode the caller ID settings. So we started out, I set it at the extension level. Then I told the outbound route to override the extension. Then I told SIP.us to override whatever my outbound route sent out. So lots of different ways to set caller ID. One other thing that I want to talk to you about is how the name gets generated. Obviously, within your PBX, you can enter the names for the extensions, and the users inside are going to see those names, which is fine. But when you dial out, a name doesn't actually get sent. So you could send whatever name you want here. You could put Billy Bob on here, and that's the correct format to send out a name, but it won't ever be seen. The reason is when it gets to these providers, these SIP providers, all they're doing is sending on the caller ID that you sent. It's up to the receiving end, the person you're calling. Their carrier has to look up in a database the name that goes with the number that's being sent. So that's kind of how the name function works when you're dialing out, and you need to be aware of that. But lots of different ways to set your caller ID. The neat thing about the SIP protocol and SIP US and some of the other carriers out there is you can set whatever caller ID you want, so you don't necessarily have to send the number that's assigned to your account.
Thanks for sticking around to the end and watching the entire video. Remember, you can find a complete transcript of this video at DIYPBX.com along with our complete catalog of DIY PBX setup videos. Thanks again for watching and good luck.